All right, so we've got um yep, so here it is. Nice big country this time. Um okay, and the description here consists of over 17,000 islands. Yeah, sometimes, these descriptions are a little odd. Um okay. Uh yeah, so I've gotten, a decent silver score, not a gold yet. Um all right. So as usual, we've got our daily challenge settings. Okay, so this is kind of a typical street scene. You see a lot of urban areas in Indonesia around, certainly. Um, let's see, Grombyong sounds kind of weird, like maybe it might be some local language. Um, most things you see are in Indonesian, but there's a variety of local languages, most of which resemble Indonesian, from the Malay language group. Okay, Indonesia has RP as the currency symbol, and that the currency unit is small, so you can see here at this place things cost, 10,000, 12,000. Um, okay. This STIA Bandung. Bandung is one of the largest cities in Indonesia. I think the second or third largest. I think it's sort of a tie between Bandung and Surabaya. Is okay. So we'll say we're provisionally near Bandung. Um, we have okay. Yeah, something that I've noticed is that you don't see very many uh street signs in Indonesia. That is markers of. Oh yeah, here Bandung for yeah. So I was going to say that I don't see a lot of street signs in Indonesia, and what do you know? Here it is. Um, so this looks like a sectoral system up here, possibly, which I've never seen before in Indonesia, where maybe there's let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing something like it marked on the map here, though. Oh, that's odd. Oh, okay, it blanked out there. Yeah, so not in the center at least, not noticing any obvious numbering system. It could be that it's in newer parts of the city only, right? Um, wait, here SMKN3 Indonesia. Okay. No, there's like CNUM 4, 3, and 2 here, but not like a numbering system like this. Kilurahan something Urgulis. Maybe it's Chirugulis. Oh no, Chi how something. Yeah, the CI prefix Chi. Um, the CI prefix Chi is I've noticed is found mostly in the part of Java that speaks that traditionally speaks what's it called? Not Javanese, but the other language in Java. Um, oh, Sundanese. Yeah, yeah. You know, that word Sunda though is used fairly widely. Like these are marked here as the Lesser Sunda Islands. Uh, but that Sundanese is a language spoken, in this end of Java. Um, and then the main language of Java, Javanese, is spoken in this part, and that the languages are similar, members of the Malay language group, and the population is bilingual in Indonesian. Um, Indonesian, it turns out, is a form of Malay. Um, and this is because um, that trade with the outside world, particularly with China, tended to concentrate toward these straits here. Because of the main shipping lane from the South China Sea into the Indian Ocean. Um, and then, once it became established that a lot of trade was done in Malay, like people started to speak Malay, out, in this direction, and as a second language, and then eventually, in the early 20th century, that form of Malay was standardized and codified as Indonesian. Um, and so I asked. I remember recently asking an Indonesian native speaker, actually, about the difference between their language and Malay, and he said that that Malay has a lot of grammatical forms that are considered to be old-fashioned in Indonesian or extinct, and also that Indonesian um, contains fewer English words, because the words from the colonial power were in Dutch, um, so so that's another source of difference. Um, Also, that in the Greater Austronesian language group, that the Malay languages are related to languages quite far away, like, for instance, Hawaiian is an extreme example, or Malagasy for that matter. Um, but um, that the main example that I can think of another Malay language you might find in GeoGuessr is Tagalog in the Philippines, and that there's a good diagnostic that I've seen for the two. That if you see the word ng, that ng is a word in Tagalog, but not in Malay or or Indonesian, and it's easy to remember because it's so weird, right? Like, the word doesn't have a vowel in it; it's just ng, and the Tagalog has ng, and it even has mng, which I have no idea how you pronounce that. But ng is one of the most common words in Tagalog and is never found in Malay or Indonesian. And of course, in the Philippines, you also find a lot of English. You find Spanish names, especially of people and places. That it's very different language. Um, okay. We have 17. We have Desa. Okay, Desa means, like a village. Um, Blabak, it looks like, or actually, the final K is Blabak. It's pronounced. The final K is Kec, Kandal. Kec stands for Kecamatan, which is uh, one step up from a desa. And then a Kecamatan is still, you're unlikely to find it on the map because of their small size. Also, interestingly, 1945, which I guess that must have been when it was founded, right? That they that it was organized at the end of the Japanese occupation, or maybe even during it. Um, that I don't know how that worked. But okay, Kandal, I think, but you're unlikely to find a Kecamatan either on the map, although it's more likely that I think even a desa might be easier. And then Kecamatan are further organized into the next level up is a kabupaten, which there's about 500 of those in Indonesia, and that sometimes they're named after the largest town or the island, or in some cases, like for instance, a local small ethnic group, which you can't find on the map usually. Um, and then Kecamatan are organized into provinces called propinsi, I think, in Indonesian. Um, and so you find these geographic terms that I mentioned on often on government signs, sometimes in addresses. Yeah, that looks like a government sign. Okay, see the Garuda. Um, this is the from Indian mythology, that Garuda is a symbol of the state in Indonesia and in Thailand. Okay. Um, so Bunga 1%. Bunga Bunga. Okay. Um, all right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing a location on here. It's, kind of badly weathered and difficult to read, right? Um, yeah. And that Malay originally was not written in the Roman alphabet, obviously, that Malay prior to I think the early 20th century was written in Arabic script, and you will still occasionally find Arabic script Malay, mostly in Malaysia. I don't think I've ever seen Arabic script Indonesian in Indonesia. Um, okay, so it was so I okay on that round. Why? Uh, I'm confused. I thought I guessed there on the last round. Okay, well, anyway, okay, so it was near actually on the edge of Kediri, which okay, and then you can see here that there's a volcano. Lot of yeah. Here's a volcano that Java is a heavily volcanic island. Like the Japanese islands are. Um, and that in Indonesia, the distribution of volcanoes is they're most common. I think in Java. Um, there's a few along this whole belt here. This by the way is not part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. This is the part of the so-called Alpine Belt in geology, which is sort of a north-south division of these continents. The Alpine Belt, runs from through the Alps, the Carpathians, the Caucasus, and then across Asia like this, and then down here. Um, and so uh, that so some of the famous ones, for instance, the Krakatoa volcano. I think no, it's over there, right? Uh, and these are remnants of an island that was blown apart by the famous 1884 eruption of Krakatoa. Um, yeah, and they're oh yeah, also like Tambora, which is famous for the global climate disaster that followed from its eruption in 1815 is here. You can see Tambora has a really huge hole. That this is the largest volcanic eruption of the last few hundred years. Produced this. Um, and um, there are, as I remember, there are volcanoes, extending out here. There are even some, I think, in West Papua and in PNG, Papua New Guinea. Um, I don't think I've ever gotten any place in Papua on a GeoGuess around, and I don't think I've gotten Maluku either. I didn't check before streaming to see if there actually isn't any coverage out here, but I've never seen any. Um, I have gotten multiple times around Manado and Bitung, so that there's and quite a few locations on Sulawesi actually. It seems to actually like the outer islands a lot. Sulawesi, Borneo, and Sumatra. I think that there's large size. A lot of roads, and I've gotten Bali before. I think I've gotten one on this side on Timor also. Timor Leste, of course, was part of Indonesia between 1976 and 2003. Um, and so that then and so this is East Timor and this is West Timor. Um, yeah. Oh, also in recognizing province names on the map, they have east, west, um, central, south, and north. Um, however, um, when you see the signs in GeoGuessr, of course, the cardinal directions are in Indonesian, so those are useful to know. North is Barat. West is west is wait yeah, okay, Barat for north, Selatan for south, uh, and then yeah, oh wait, yeah, wait, Selatan for south, Utara for north. I think that was what was confusing me. Barat is west and Timor is east, I think, and Tengah is central. There's also Sulawesi Tenggara is Sulawesi Tenggara I think is I'm trying to remember if that's central or I think this is Sulawesi Tengah and this is Sulawesi Tenggara is southeast. I guess if that comes up later in the stream, we'll find out, right? Uh, yeah, that and these are of course Nusa Tenggara Barat and Nusa Tenggara Timur. Um, yeah, if so, this should be Maluku Utara should be North Maluku province, and then South Maluku is just called Maluku. These were separated in 1999 as a result of ethnic violence connected with the fall of the New Order regime. The rule of Suharto between 1967 and 1998. Um, that there was conflict. Right at the end of the of the revolution that overthrew Suharto. Um, okay, and yeah, so and then as I said, I've never encountered this part of the country in around before. Okay, okay, so this I'm thinking is not Java. It has an outer islands look to it. I think. Let's see, Fada music record. Di Teluk Kuantan. Well, Kuantan is in Malaysia, right? It's right. I don't know what it means, but that commercial advertising I find like is oh wait, there's a political sign. For some reason, they have political signs with people wearing these strange uniforms. But okay, so Pemerintah Kabupaten Kuantan Singgingi. Okay. So Kabupaten. Okay, this is the part of the province that I mentioned. Very commonly encountered thing in Indonesian. Um, and I'm guessing that this is Kabupaten Kuantan, so Kuantan is our location. But I don't know where that is. There's a Kuantan in Malaysia, which makes me think maybe the local language would be Malay, which would be Sumatra. Malay is local, I think, in North Sumatra, Riau, Jambi, and down into South Sumatra, and less so, on the other coast of the island. Lampung is more languages from Java, and Aceh has its own language called Acehnese. Um, okay. Um, Kuantan. Um, yeah. Also, there's the problem that a kabupaten is not necessarily even plotted on the map, or it may not. As I said, it may. Many of them are named after their principal town or the island, but many are not findable. Um, but I'm not seeing a Kuantan. But I'm thinking from the appearance. I don't know. Maybe yeah. I kind of think maybe even over here. Um, Yeah, the guys here, you can see they we have guys in fezzes, that there's some difference in appearance between. Oh yeah, also here Kwantan again is on this sign. Um Sholat Idul Adha. Okay, so this is Muslim, which is most of Indonesia. Christianity is certainly strongly present in many parts of the country, and but yeah, okay. So the specific, so we have Tiluk Kwantan. Um, yeah, that's what the place was called, Tiluk Kwantan. Okay, um, so I mentioned that there's a Kwantan in Malaysia, which that it's on this side, as I remember. Let's see, Kuala Dungun, Pekan. It's a fairly large sort of place. Yeah, Kwantan here. Um, that so Kuantan is it's the capital of Pahang State, right, of Malaysia. Then and yeah, I remember trying to find it before and noticing that it's oddly non-prominent on the map. That Kuantan is sort of covered up by the label here. Uh, of course, this is a stream about Indonesia, so this is getting seriously off topic. But oh, I mentioned also if you find Christian things in Indonesia, the most likely place to find Christianity is in the east. Um, that for instance, there's a beautiful large church in Bitung. I remember that, and that I think this northern part of Sulawesi is mostly Christian. Um, and so I think that you have a mixture of Christianity and Islam in most of these eastern islands, and then Christianity predominates, I think, in Maluku province, although uh, in North Maluku there are more Muslims I know than in Maluku here, and there are not there are few Muslims in West Papua or Papua. Those are mostly people that migrated there from other parts of Indonesia. In the last 50 or 60 years, I think, live here, and that very few indigenous people in this area are Muslims. Also, um, Timor is and some of the neighboring islands um, have Portuguese style Catholic churches, which should be which have somewhat different architecture. Um, I know that a lot of the Christianity in Indonesia is Protestant. That you have places that were converted to Christianity by Calvinist missionaries in the Dutch period. Um, and of course, like the Dutch not having a particularly strong religious preference as a state. Um, that some areas were, that the Catholic Church, of course, was quite active there. As it is in the Netherlands itself. That the Netherlands has North Brabant province is mostly Catholic. Okay, um, so we have then that we can go to the next round. All right. We have a gas pump. We have a gas pump without a gas station. Um, yeah, you occasionally see those in less developed countries. I've seen them in Thailand before, certainly. Um, Yep, and then we have, like wood stand next to the gas pump with bamboo poles, right? Oh wait, is that a church or a mosque? That looks like it's hard to say. Um, Al Hikmah, okay. Desa Gunung Lorong Kecamatan Salim, Salem. Um, hmm, Salim. Uh, all right. So I think it's a mosque then. Um, yep. Okay. Where do I think this is? Okay. So this it looks solidly wet, right? Um, let's see. Background looks like maybe this is a less popular. Yeah, the architecture is really weird here too. Like oddly Dutch looking. Okay, log pile, quite a bit of forest in the back. I'm thinking outer islands then. I think this is probably Borneo. Um, the provinces on Borneo are called Kalimantan. I don't know if that's the name of the whole island in Indonesian or just the part that's in Indonesia. Um, okay, yeah, Kalimantan means it means the circle of Kali, like the Indian goddess. Um, yeah, yeah. So that the wood pile in particular, it suggests that that these are people that actually use well, I guess they don't have heat in Indonesia, but at least for cooking, right? That they use wood. Um, you know, yeah, someone needs to work out a wood air conditioner, that would because there are a lot of people, like that have wood, and maybe don't have a lot of money to buy fossil fuels. Um, okay, we're leaving town. Oh, it was Java. Okay. Yeah, I was not. Yeah, I tend to think of Java as being more heavily cultivated. Um, I guess you can be. I guess it's sort of like Japan, right? Like that there are mountain villages, with more surviving, more surviving forest cover, and that I think also, that Java is very heavily populated, like Japan is, um, and so that I mean, I think as I remember, like if you encounter forests, though, the in Java, I think the least populated areas of the island are this part over here, south of Bandung and Jakarta on the south side. Um, and like as I remember, like up here, you have a lot more. A lot more big, areas of just rice and other fields, and also over here you have the same sort of thing. Okay, thatch roof. Uh, is that a deer or a dog? I think that's a dog, but maybe yeah, I think that might be a deer. Um, okay, yeah, certainly they'd have deer, right? Like that. I mean, there's I mean, most of Indonesia was attached to Asia in the last ice age. Um, I think that deer might not be present though on some of the eastern islands. So that might be a clue, although not much of one. Because I think mostly in places where you wouldn't encounter deer, there wouldn't be coverage. Although I think maybe that means not Sulawesi though, which narrows it down a bit. Um, yep. Uh, remember what I said about not encountering a lot of street signs? Okay. Um, yeah, there's a lot of cigarette advertising in Indonesia. I've noticed that. Um, like you'll see, like Sampurna, you'll see a lot of. Those are the people that are also the clove cigarette exporters. You know that um, for younger viewers of the stream, if you don't know what a clove cigarette is, ask your mom. Um, okay. Um, at least you know, like I mean, you know, if she was around in the 1990s, which I guess is likely, right? You know that. Okay, so this is official ice cream sponsor of you know the something Jakarta Palembang in Asian Games Indonesia, right? So no content there. Speaking of ice cream, you know, like yeah, I don't think Walls is Indonesian though. You know, I think that they got I think that they got a surplus freezer. Um, that's kind of like the Texas plumber truck, you know, that ended up being exported to Iraq and driven by ISIS. You know that you know you can't control where your stuff goes. You know if you put it into the resale market. Um, but yeah, I would. Oh yeah, always pays to remember to guess. Okay. Ah, so I said that you can get rounds in Timor. Yes. Okay. So yeah, that was one. Um, yeah, I mean, come to think of it, we didn't encounter much of anything as a clue, right? You know, as to where we were. Um, okay. So, you know, this follows my tendency to talk too much in these streams and forget to guess. So, 9,985 9 points divided by four guesses. um, not a great score. Okay. Um, all right. Second game. Is that a numbered house? It looks like it is 29. Okay. Hey, look, it's the Street View car. Are these school uniforms, maybe? Yeah, it looks like it. Flag, you know, looks kind of like Poland. Um, Battle Royale players know those better than I do, you know. I don't know if it's similar enough to pull the chat move. Um, yeah, see what I said about cigarette advertising? Yeah, Jarum is a big brand. Um, Layanan Berhenti Merokok. Okay. Is this about stop smoking, right, Berhenti? Um, you know, because that's the Malay stop signs, right? You know, like oh, perokok. Yeah, that makes sense because in Dutch, roken is smoke. So perokok makes sense as being yeah, it yeah, that there's I know that a lot of Malay words and Indonesian words have a grammatical prefix like that, right? That there's pe, um, you know, and then you know that there's like for instance, kabupaten has you know that one turns out to be ka and n are both grammatical words. You know that a kabupaten turns out to be some place that has a local official known as a bupati. Um, that being a word from I think ultimately Sanskrit. Um, Lesahan Dladang. This D apostrophe is weird. I don't, you know, that may indicate, you know, some local language that is not Indonesian. Um, let's see. So we from the yeah. So here near the equator, right? Satellite dish points straight up. Um, so tells us nothing. Um, a lot of flags in this village. Okay. Um, and then as we run short on time, yeah, so I'm going to guess somewhere in Java, I think, you know, that this I think might be uh like a more agricultural, flatter part of Java. Okay, we do have some modest hills though. There's some elevation differences. And it was Sumatra. Okay, it was Bengkulu province. Um, yep. All right. A lot of flags again. Um, Hati Hati. Okay, so yeah, this is a feature of all Austronesian languages is that they have duplicated words. Uh, so here we have Sering Terjadi Kecelakaan Kurang. Oh, wait, is that Kurangi or Kurangi Kecepatan? No idea what any of this says. Um, wait, they're KAB, yeah. Banka. Oh, yeah, that's probably Bunka Belitung Islands. Um, right. That's these Bunka Belitung Islands. This is Belitung, this is Bunka. So, yeah, so where that was, you can see on the flag here, KAB period stands for Kabupaten. That's usually you find that word abbreviated. Kabupaten is a part of a province, and then Bangka, Bangka, and I knew that Bangka Belitung was a province. So I think we are on Bangka Island. Um, it's interesting that they put that on the flag. Um, uh, Pelangon Barut sounds like a location. Let's see. Yep. Nasi means rice in Indonesian. Um, for those of you familiar with the cuisine, you've seen that one, right? Yeah, here again, lots of cigarette advertising. Another Jarum one, 13,000. Um, I think that's about a US dollar. I don't know what the exchange rate is offhand. Um, typical cigarette price for a less developed country. That in developed countries, cigarette prices are higher because, they have to do that to make the taxation effective in deterring people from smoking cigarettes. Um, and so, um, yep. Okay. So that, yeah. So I like the Malay mosque sorts of designs. That they have this sort of dome. Often brightly colored with geometric designs. Um, okay. Um, Pertamina is the state petroleum company. Wait, that's interesting. Like so it was Kabupaten Belitung, right? I thought it was the Bangka Belitung Islands, that it made sense, but it wasn't. It was Madura. So, yeah, makes me wonder if Belitung means some common word, right? Oh, wait, I have the internet. I can check this. Um, okay, so I go Google Translate, ask it about Indonesian. Uh, no, Belitung doesn't come up as anything. You know, uh, uh, Did it say Tucky Tucky on the sign? I can't remember. Okay. Um, all right. So there's um now that satellite dish is not quite pointed straight up. I don't know how sensitive an indicator of latitude this is. But it looks like it's pointing slightly no, no, it's okay. See, one of the things about, that you have to worry about with the satellite dish is that the satellite may not necessarily be directly at the same longitude as the location, so, it may be pointed somewhat off to the east or west, and that's, pretty hard to judge. Um, Okay, you'll notice here Alamat, JL period is Jalan for a road. Jalan Tuanku Sasak, Sialong, Pasaman Barat. Barat is one of the cardinal directions, right? Barat is, as I said, west. So Pasaman Barat definitely sounds like um, that might be the Kabupaten we're in. A lot of the Kabupaten names have a direction in them. Um, we have Bionasa. Okay. Um, we have grow lights. Okay. I wonder what they use grow lights for in Indonesia. Um, oh, here again, one of those little gas pump with no gas station. Remember I said Pertamina was the state oil company. Yes, this is a Pertamini. Um, right. Um, let's see. Yep. Ooh, these are only 10,000. Okay. But class are 15,000, because they've got class. They cost more. Um, yeah, also in that word class, it has a C in it, which is a bit odd. Um, wait, I guess Indonesian has C, right? But it's pronounced ch. There's ch and j, which are, that those are consonants found in Indonesian that are a little unusual. Oh, okay, so here we have Kecamatan, Sasak, Rana, Pasisi, Kabupaten Pasaman Barat, and also here Pemerintah, Kabupaten Pasaman Barat. Okay, so um, again, I taste a guess. So let's see. So Pasaman Barat was um, yeah, often I've run into this thing that when you zoom in, um, the Kabupaten centers are often visible from the business names, but not from the actual map. Um, which I think that the issue is that the small towns plotted on Google Maps are actually poorly conditioned to the actual geography. Um, you find that also in Japan sometimes, but in Japan, I know that it's due to them having a large number of municipal mergers. Um, and that the municipal mergers have not particularly settled in for the terminology used to refer to the towns. Um, and so in Japan, often and in fact, even the municipal mergers aren't even reflected on the road signs. That the road signs will have locations on them that are some municipality that was merged, with a bunch of other municipalities in 1997 or something, and that it's still conventionally called that. Um, and there's no reason to change the road signs. Uh, so yeah, so I yeah that the so yeah I've got to say that the geographic subdivisions in Indonesia are they can be difficult to find. That we've even been burned on one. Remember, we had Kabupaten Belitung. I thought, well, obviously it has to be in Bangka Belit. No, it was Bangka, right? It was. Oh, that's another one to check with Google Translate. What does Bangka mean something? Uh, Bunka means fart? Really? Okay. I don't know. Uh, right. Um, all right. So, rice, right? Banana there. Um, Little Road. Yeah. Oh, yeah, another thing is I don't think I've ever found a road number in Indonesia, that okay. Did I just screw things up here? Loading location, loading location. Okay, this is not good. Um, yeah, the internet's still on. Um, okay, we're back. Uh, RT05. Wait, is this a route number? DK Sambu DS Bendu RW03. RT and RW. Hmm. Oh, there's the Indonesian state emblem. I think here the state emblem and a bunch of the other national symbols like this are grouped together as what's called Pancasila, which is it means the five pillars, and that the five sections of the shield correspond to the principles of Pancasila, which it's something that looks like something that you'd see in a Boy Scout handbook. That it came from actually a conference of Indonesian nationalists in I think the 1920s. Um, giving the principles of their movement, and that and then so it appears as the five sections on that emblem there. Um, yeah, we haven't seen any geographical clues at all. Very much. We may have to do this entirely on appearance, which doesn't work that well in Indonesia. Um, yeah, we have DK Pilang DS Bendo. Um, yeah, I think we may not find anything. Um, oh, that's interesting. A little do not enter sign. So of course, let's go that way. Um, uh, RT03 RW to Jekatas Utara. Okay. So it was Java. Um, okay. Central Java, which would be called Java Tengah if you saw it on a sign as the propinsi. We didn't see a Kabupaten anywhere. Oh, I should mention also that in some large cities are not in a kabupaten. Large cities are they sometimes will be referred to in those address sorts of things as kota, which is the word for city. And kota is actually from ultimately from Arabic, and it appears in a lot of geographical names. That as well as being the word for city in Malay and Indonesian, that, for instance, you can see here near Lahore, you can see there's Sialkot, which has, again, the Kota name in it. Um, and if you look around in India, you will find other places also that end in Kot, Patankot, okay, there, which I think means the city of the Pashtuns. Then there's and then the most famous city that uses Kot in its name is that in Arabic the plural of Kot al Kot is al Kuwait, and that that this is Medinat al Kuwait, the city of the forts, um, and so that that and this is getting seriously off topic, but that also means that in Arabic the city is only referred to as Al Kuwait, not Kuwait. That it always has an al on it. Um, all right. Which in Arabic that's very common, like for a city to have an al always on its name. Um, okay. Uh, Kid nicely camouflaged in front of palm tree. Is that a coconut palm? I think it is. Yeah, there's the coconuts. Um, and after you've seen a few coconut palms, you always recognize them. Um, okay, we've got the hills there. Um, so not much about the appearance. I think we're probably on a volcanic island, which yeah, what do I think? This could be Java, right? Like that's the most obvious choice. Um, Java contains more than half the population of Indonesia. It actually has a larger population than the main Japanese island, making it the largest island in the world by population. Um, and I think the order of the largest islands in the world by population are Java is the largest, then there's the main Japanese island, and then I think after those are Great Britain, Sumatra, and Luzon. Luzon being the island that Manila is on. Um, and you can look at Wikipedia at the list of the world's most populated islands, and you find out that it's kind of weird, like it doesn't look like you're expecting. I think about 80% of it is Asia. Um, okay, we have Surya Pilihan Berkualitas, right? Um, oh, that's interesting. That indicates that maybe ber is one of the prefixes in the language. So maybe berhenti is actually not a single word, for stop. Um, Berhenti perokok, right? We saw before, I think, was stop smoking. Um, yeah, yeah, I've been missing quite a few rounds, so make make sure I peg this one before running out of time. Um, yeah, so I said I think this is Java, that, and it's the Lesser Sunda Islands. It's Flores. Um, I think that's Flores, right? Let's see if I remember my islands here. Okay, so this is Java. This is Madura. This is Bali. So yeah, that's one you get Denpasar a lot. I've noticed. Lombok with Mataram, uh, and then yeah, I think this is Flores. Flores, of course, has um, the Tambora volcano, famous for the 1815 gigantic eruption and global climate disaster. Um, and then here, this little island is, of course, Komodo, the place with the Komodo dragons. Um, and then, wait, is this Flores or is this Flores? Um, yeah, there's oh, Sumbawa. Okay, this is Sumbawa. This is Flores. This is Sumba. Um, and then this is Timor, and Timor has the independent country in it, Timor Leste. Um, yeah, this is another one where like we want this country in GeoGuessr. I that I think it would be a good addition to their already large list of interesting small countries that they have. Um, oh, also there's a significant town out here. Yeah, it's not on the bigger islands. It's Tual is actually a decent sized town on, that it's. I'm not sure, what the reasoning is for this, but like that Tual is actually larger than anything in its immediate variety. And of course here everyone's favorite Indonesian town, right. Fuck, I've actually heard of other than having a silly name. Um, that I think it's claimed to have the only um, mosque in Papua that was founded before colonization by Westerners, of course. By Muslims is another issue, of course. Um, but yeah, I don't know if it's specifically that one. Well, no, there's at least two mosques in the town. Um, Okay. Ice cream salamat datang. Yeah, so this is another one. Salamat datang is like welcome or hello. From Arabic salam, obviously. Um, you'll see signs in Indonesia that say salamat datang, and of course in Malaysia too, they use it also. Um what? Really? 633 points. I think this may be a personal low for one of these streams, yeah, that these yeah, these streams you definitely don't watch them to see top performances in GeoGuessr, because and why would I? I'm too busy talking about all the details, right? Okay. So, yeah, I think that was just the second game. So I've got, a third one. Yeah, these streams seem to be getting longer. I might want to. Ooh, skull and crossbones. Okay. Okay. Salamat Jalan dari Ranto Prapat. Okay. So Jalan is a street name, right? Um, that yeah that there's yeah, oh wait, there's the place name over there, Kecamatan Rantau Utara, KEL, um KEL Padang Matinggi. There's Padang is a city, of course. Maybe we could put it there. Let's see, where is it? Oh yeah, there's Padang. Okay. I was confusing it with Palembang, right? Padang is over here. This is West Sumatra. Um, I should mention also there are islands off of this side of Sumatra. This is Nias, which is well known particularly for the famous 1915 photo of people building a megalithic temple by rolling huge blocks of stone on logs. You know, uh, proving that like it's not just that we know that these things weren't built by ancient aliens. We have photographs of the process. Um, and let's see, Simulua is one of these other islands. I can't remember. Probably that one. Maybe it isn't. It calls Pulau, except I think Pulau might just mean island. That sometimes there are things that are not well done on. Yeah, Tanah Bala and Siberut. Um, yeah, Salamat Jalan. It said on there. Does that mean like peace and roads? Um, that should be the motto of GeoGuessr, right? Peace and roads. Okay, they have nasi lemak. Um, let's see, cigarettes that cost 15,000. Um, Indak trucking. Oh, if they have trucking between Malaysia and Indonesia, I think this is Borneo. Um, right? Because I mean, maybe maybe. Okay. Yeah, this round would have been doable if I had actually been moving, but like was North Sumatra province, okay, which would be Sumatera Utara in Indonesia, because as I said, when you see the province names, they'll be in Indonesia, so they'll be in Indonesian, so you don't have a north there. Uh, oh, this is very interesting. This is Lake Toba, and it's one of the scenic spectaculars of Asia. um, I remember in Japan in the late '90s running into a guy that this was kind of funny. Like I had chosen to visit my friend in South Korea because of the Asian financial crisis. That when there's a lack of confidence in the currency, things are cheap. There's a high demand for dollars. Um, South Korea, I decided, was not too dangerous, although there was one day on the subway in Seoul where there were soldiers blocking the entrance to one of the subway lines. And I found out that there was actually a major demonstration by labor unions that day, involving the economic crisis. But at the time, Indonesia was the New Order regime in Indonesia was collapsing, and I ran into this guy on the ferry to Japan that was actually had a bunch of frequent flyer miles, but could only fly to Indonesia from Tokyo. He had been teaching in South Korea, and that I thought that this was crazy. But the guy. I talked to him. He'd traveled all over the place, and that he said in particular that this was Lake Toba was one of the most impressive things that I've seen. And Lake Toba, it turns out, is an enormous volcanic crater. That it apparently it blew out this thing, and the lava flows actually covered all the way to the sea on both sides. Which this is a considerable distance from the crater to the sea here. um, and in fact, that rich volcanic soil causes the North Sumatra province to be unusually productive agriculturally. And that this is why as I remember, the province has something like 15 or 18 million people living in it. Um, including the city of Medan, which has, I think, about 3 or 4 million people. Medan is the fourth largest city in Indonesia. I think the order goes Jakarta, roughly a tie between Bandung and Surabaya. Then Medan is the next largest city, and then I think after that, the next largest city in Indonesia. Um, it's either Semarang or Makassar. I don't know which of those it is. Um, all right, so looks very American. Look, diamond-shaped sign with a cross on it. Who would expect to see one of those in Asia? Okay. Right, Indonesian flag again. Yeah, so this seems to be a flag-heavy country. you know, uh, not quite in the area in the neighborhood of, say, the United States, Turkey, or Thailand, but plenty of flags available. It looks like. Um, no, okay. I thought there might be a location on there. Ooh, a traffic light. Yeah, you don't see those very often, actually. Makes me wonder if that implies that we're in a larger city. Um, um, let's see, make a global course. Wait, Timor is a direction, like that might be a geographic location, that on the sign. Sat Intelcom, Pulsec, something Timor. Um, maybe that's not a location. Um, these may be real estate listings, which, maybe not. I mean, 600,000 is, Disewakan Kamar. Maybe it's hotel rooms. I don't know. Um, because Kamar made me think, possibly rooms, right? Um, what are these things? Bakso, Tekwan. It didn't. Yeah. The food, the names of the food there look unusual. Like maybe this is not a Malay or sort of area. Um, Wait, is that the 20,000 rupiah store? Hmm. Um. Okay. Political advertising. Oh, there it's got the kabupaten on it. Muara Enim. Um. That might even be a map of it, although that they're not plotted. Muara Enim. Um. Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. As I said, I think maybe this is not Java. Oh, okay. It's South Sumatra. Oh, there's Muara Enim. Okay, so that one was actually findable. Um, yeah, that yeah that I yeah that there aren't yeah there's but yeah we're finding that not that many geographical clues. Right. Um, is that cane? Or maybe. Um, yeah, it looks like that might be sugarcane. Um, Tanakh Milik Tnial. Oh yeah, I didn't finish the story about the guy that I ran into that was going to on the ferry to Japan that was going to Indonesia. That he was, that he actually had been to Nias, the island that I mentioned where there there are photos of people building a megalithic temple by rolling giant blocks of stone across log rollers. Um, you know, and he was stunned that I actually knew what Nias was. Like I think that he may have literally never run into anyone that had heard of the island before. Um, and I mostly knew that it was an island. At the time I didn't know the thing about the temple being built with yeah, Mingwasai. Yeah. Dilarong sounds like it might be. I think I may have seen that. I think that I want to say Java, but I think I might have been tricked by that one before though. Um hmm License plate looks like it might be interesting if you could ever see one. Um Ooh, I have two viewers. Yep. Okay. Um yeah, there we can see, yellow and black chevrons, like another North American looking feature. Uh before we actually had a diamond shaped yellow sign. Um um Tiap hari gratis internetan. Okay. So it was Java. Yeah, that Bantur. Oh, yeah, this is an archaic spelling. Toer. That OE has mostly been changed to U. It's an artifact of Dutch spelling that they got rid of. Um, that sometimes appear, sometimes will appear in a name. So, if you see OE and U in this in a word, in two different things, those may not be two different words. Um, yeah. Oh, I wanted to look up dilarang. Oh, dilarang means prohibited. Okay. So, yeah, dilarang merokok. All right, no smoking. Okay, so that's a word that we saw from, remember the one was Berhenti merokok, or was it Berhenti perokok, I think, was presumably about stop smoking because we know Berhenti from the Malay stop signs. Yeah, so dilarang means is not allowed. Okay, so that is not a place name. Okay. Um, and oh, just another thing. Images. I'm interested in if I can find Nias, temple, stone, rollers. Um, yeah, yeah, this. Okay. So yep, it's so the thing about aliens, no, this is how you move large stone blocks with rollers. Uh that they're not this was not just, something that archaeologists came up with as an explanation. People have photographed it. And so this was on the island of Nias in 1915, and I've actually seen a photo of this actual block in the present day. It's actually out in front of it's out in front of one of the larger temples on the island, and so this, is when they installed it. And like looking at the photo here, I'm assuming that they wanted the photographer to take a picture of this, I'm guessing that, like maybe to take a photograph on Nias in those days, maybe they didn't even have a lab on the island. You had to ship the film to Jakarta to have it developed. But certainly there were people with cameras, um, recording this sort of thing. Um, and so um, that and obviously, referring to a temple here, Nias is an outlying island where the population was not converted to Islam in before the arrival of the Dutch colonial regime. Um, that and that I don't know, what the situation is on Nias today. Like I know that a lot of indigenous religions in Indonesia were displaced by Christianity, after they were displaced by Islam. Um, but substantial amounts of indigenous believers still exist. And there's a funny story. I mentioned, Pancasila from the Indonesian state emblem. That one of the principles of Pancasila, it turns out, is faith, and the people, unfortunately, at the nationalist conference listed the religions, and that somehow they didn't think of listing any indigenous Indonesian religions. But for some reason, but Hindu is listed in there. I think they were thinking of people on Bali who have a religion that is identifiably Hindu, like with actual Hindu deities in it. Uh, but that many indigenous Indonesian religions have actually claimed for this reason to be Hindu, as represented in Pancasila, um, even though there's no sign of India in their belief system. Uh, but I think the idea is that, Hinduism is indigenous to Indonesia. I mean, to India, and so, they live in some place that, was culturally influenced by Hinduism a long time ago, and so they, for Pancasila purposes, they count as being Hindus. I don't know if this has any legal meaning, but that it fits into the principles of the, you know, I mean, Pancasila is not, like much of a state ideology. It's more of a symbol, a set of symbols, flags, that as I said, it kind of reads, like something from a Boy Scout manual. Um, okay. Um, yeah, so this is, I guess, the next to last round then. Um, so this is interesting, like we have a yellow diamond sign and yellow and black chevrons. So, we have some American sort of features in the landscape. We have some bollards here. Um, Interesting. And goats. Okay. Yeah, and that other one where I thought it was a deer before, maybe it was a goat. Um, yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I assumed that it was. I assumed, yeah. Come to think of it, it didn't have spots, which a Sika deer would. I'm not sure of not that familiar with Asian deer species, but the main one, which you find from India to Okinawa, certainly is that it has the feature that even the adult deer have the spotted pattern, like an eastern white-tailed deer has just as a fawn. So we have Kabupaten Donggala. Okay. Um, so Donggala then um, is a likely location, and as I said, these things are often hard to find and not even plotted on the map. Um, let's see, Donggala. Um, I don't see hills yet. Um, so the village buildings are closer together. Except these flags KEC period SIND. So maybe that's the Kecamatan, right? That's not the Kabupatan. So it was Donggala, right? Um Dip Dipotatari or well, there's a bunch of these things, right? We might be able to get a better look. Lero Tatari. Um Oh, Desa Lero Tatari, that's the village. Oh, this sign. This is one of the masterpieces of, whatever this sign signals, they're excited about it. Um, okay. Also, we know that this is not a Spanish-speaking country because the exclamation point is not upside down. Um, okay, so yeah, it was Dongara, right? There were street cows. It was okay, Sulawesi. Um, so there's Palu. Oh, Donggala, that was what it was, right? And so on this side, we have this small thing, Kantor, Desa Dalaka. Kantor means office. So this is a place called Dalaka. Um, Kantor Desa Labuan Panimpa. So that's another village, right? Labuan Panimpa. Um, Labuan Panimpa, then here, OSPN Labuhan Panimpa, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, that would have been difficult to find, and that would have been difficult to find does seem to be quite a motif in Indonesia that even when you do have the some geographical information from the landscape, you still might not be able to find it. Um, yeah, so I guess I'd say like identifying Indonesia is easy, right? I haven't even really talked that much about that, but there's mainly you have to tell it apart from Malaysia, which you do by economic level currency units. You know, the Berhenti sign in Malaysia, the Awas sign in Malaysia. Um, Yep. Okay, we have terraced fields, bananas. Yeah, terraced fields indicates that there's um less of a supply of land, which makes me think Java, which is heavily populated, much more so than any other part of Indonesia. Um, there's the corn. Yeah, looks like it's a terraced rice field. Um, yeah, Java is certainly hilly like this, right? Um, but yeah, Indonesia easy to identify, difficult to 5K. Um, and you know that it's hard to even find street signs. You know, like usually if you know what street you're on, it's from business signs. Although this is impressive forest, you know, like I think it still could be Java, you know, up in the hills, right? You know, like, you know, just like how Japan is very heavily populated, but still has a lot of forest, you know, because if they removed it, the mountains would fall down. Um, I think this is a similar situation. Yep. So yeah, looks. Oh, that looks like maybe it's a partially abandoned terraced field system, right? You know, with yeah. So the terraced fields, I think may mean that we're in Java, but I am impressed by this forest. Yeah, another thing that you know we didn't encounter around with oil palms, you know, which there's quite a bit of you know in Sumatra and Borneo. Um, yeah, so it was Java. It was East Java, which is called Java Timur on signs, and so oh no, it wasn't East Java. It was Central Java. You know, right near the border. Um, yeah, so Yeah, also, yeah, so this area also that I mentioned in terms of large cities, there's Surakarta and Yogyakarta, which are, I think, about 30 kilometers apart. Um, you know, that this also is one of the sort of metropolitan areas of Java. Um, these put together are called Solo. Um, you know, that you know, you may see that as a geographic term. You know, Solo is here. Um, and you know this particular area is you know that there's the special region of Yogyakarta here. Um, this has to do with that one of the that in the Dutch period, parts of Indonesia were ruled by kings, and that most of them um, were eliminated at the time of independence. But the Prince of Yogyakarta actually had been a supporter of the independence movement, you know, and had even given a lot of people asylum in his kingdom from the Dutch, and so that the sultans of Yogyakarta were you know uh, recognized as the traditional rulers of this special region of Yogyakarta, and they're still around. Um, that I understand that a lot of the families of the old rulers in Indonesia are still very important in politics, and you know that there has even in the last few decades there has been a a revival of royal culture in Indonesia. Um, so let's see. So I guess you know we're done with the stream now, right? That you know so we've gone through three games. Um, you know, and so you know I think this has been you know a very educational stream, if not a very well scoring one. um, right? And in fact, again, like spectacular, like 2000. Oh wait, is that no? That's the whole thing, right? Like oh no, that's the whole thing. 4,171 points. Okay, so yeah. This was definitely not not a good game at all. Um, and yeah, so again, I've never had a round out here. Uh, you know, uh, that I've only got I've gotten Sumatra, Kalimantan, the island is called Borneo. I think Kalimantan may be the name of the whole island, as I said in Indonesian. Sulawesi, I've gotten rounds in the Nusa Tenggara Islands in Timor and of course in Java. Um, yeah, another place that I think that I haven't seen and I've wondered why is that see these islands here, these islands are part of Indonesia. Um and in fact Batam is actually a fairly serious city, like I think there are actually something like 1 million people on this island now. Um and that also there's actually a province with for these islands that is not that I think is not marked on the map at all. I want to say that they're called the Riau Islands. That there's Riau Province, and then I think these islands are not part of Riau Province. I think they're actually a province of their own. Although, oh wait, I have the internet. I can check this. So new tab. Uh, Actually, I'll just search for Batam, right? To look for that. Um, and largest city in the province of Riau Islands, Indonesia. Okay, so in fact, those are the Riau Islands. I didn't even know there were these out here. Okay, so that's another thing to know. Yeah, but I don't think I've ever seen around in GeoGuessr in the Riau Islands. I think that they may not be covered, even though, as I said, Batam is actually fairly large. As you can see here. Um, Wait, Riau Islands in total 2 million people. Um, and then does they might actually have somewhere down here the yeah. Okay, Batam City. So as I said, some places are not kabupaten, some places are cities. So it would be Kota Batam, uh, area 960 square kilometers, which sounds like the whole island, and then 1.2 million people in the 2020 census. So that it's actually a quite serious city in Indonesia that I have never seen in an Indonesian round. So so yeah, that Google, send your car to Batam, okay? Um, yeah, so I guess now we're done, right? So end stream, and ID, of course, next in alphabetical order is IE, Ireland. Um, so I'll be putting up that stream next.